Well, back to the artifacts, I guess. But what I now need are 7 crystal balls, and I don't see them here. Huh? Wait a moment. Where did they come from? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now the others are all gone, and this has turned into... What is this? Well, it's not 7, but it's at least 1 crystal ball. What do we have here? Strange inscriptions and this figurine. December 1943, Hergé began working on a new longer Tintin story, which however would take a total of 4 years to complete. This was due to World War II. Germany was fought back and the Nazi repression turned into its opposite. After the liberation there was only black or white, either you had been a Nazi collaborator or a resistance fighter. And since Hergé had worked for the newspaper Le Soir, he had automatically become a collaborator. But he was lucky to have friends who knew his humanistic attitude and knew that he was not a friend of fascists. However, from September 1944 to September 1946, it was forbidden for Hergé to work. Thanks to his friend Raymond Leblanc, everything changed, and Tintin got his own weekly magazine, Tintin, and the story could go on. An expedition returns from South America after finding an Inca grave and bringing the finds to Europe, including a mummy. Then strange things start to happen. One member of the expedition after the other falls into a cataleptic sleep, which is interrupted every 24 hours at exactly the same time by a psychotic attack. Next to each victim, crystal fragments are found, which apparently come from a spherical ampule. Professor Hercules Tarragon seems to be the last member of the expedition who's not affected. He's an old friend of Professor Calculus, and so he, Tintin and Haddock go to visit him. He shows them the mummy of Raska Kapak and tells them of the curse that has apparently come over the members of the expedition. In this story, Hergé takes a trip into the world of the occult, which sometimes makes it very scary. For example, when Haddock, Tintin and Calculus dream the same dream that the mummy of Raska Kapak would come into their bedrooms. Nevertheless, the story also has its funny highlights, and with General Alcazar, who works under the name Ramon Zarate in the variety show, Tintin meets an old friend. The story gets a special twist when Calculus is kidnapped, apparently by the same people who are responsible for the condition of the 7 researchers. From that moment on, the occult takes a backseat and a crime story unfolds when it comes to persecuting the kidnappers. Volume 1 of the 2-part story ends when the trace leads to South America. Fun fact, one of the expedition members that appears in the story is Professor Paul Contenot, and he made his first appearance in the story The Shooting Star. The double-volume stories are undoubtedly among the best in the series. Unfortunately, after the 7 Crystal Balls and Prisoners of the Sun, there will be only one more, Destination Moon and Explorers on the Moon. Hergé's perfectionism was at its peak now, collecting information and images from everywhere. His main source of information, for example about foreign tribes like the Incas, was the National Geographic magazine. Critics of the story The Shooting Star had pointed out that Haddock's ship in that story would be neither sea nor ocean going. Such a criticism was something he wanted to avoid in future. His perfectionism helped improving the comics. What is your riddle?